Hey everybody, and welcome to our release kickoff for milestone 17.4. My name is Hillary Benson, and I am the product leader here at GitLab for our Sec and data science sections, and I'll be your host today for today's live stream. I'm happy to introduce the other product leaders joining me to talk about the 17.4 milestone today. In the order that they'll be presenting, we have Josh Lambert, Director PM, will provide updates for the core platform section. Melissa Ushakov, Group Manager, will provide updates for Dev and Monitor. Jackie Porter, Director PM for the CI and CD sections. Hannah Suter, Principal PM for the Sec section. And Taylor McCaslin, Group Manager, will provide updates for the Data Science section. So just want to go over a few of our product investment themes for fiscal year 25. Just to remind you what they're all about. So first, enabling AI and ML efficiencies across DevCyOps. So this investment theme is all about leveraging generative AI to remove friction and eliminate rote work throughout the DevOps process. The second theme is drive use case adoption to fully realize value of the GitLab platform. And that's all about making it easy to get started and to integrate the core capabilities within our CI/CD and security and compliance portfolio into your processes. Third theme is to differentiate on DevCyOps platform. So that's all about doubling down on the things that make the GitLab platform unique and continuing to invest in our planning capabilities, metrics and reporting, and new source code management capabilities. And then finally, our last investment theme is strengthening our SaaS deployments and capabilities. So this aims to enable more organizations to carry out digital transformation initiatives without having to self-host their own DevCyOps platform. So that means investing in the scalability and reliability of our SaaS offerings and investing in parity across all of our platform deployment options. So those are our themes for this kickoff. Real quick, before handing it over to Josh, I do have to quickly preface today's call with our forward-looking statement disclosure, so bear with me. On this live stream, we will be discussing our roadmap, which includes upcoming features and functionality. It's important to note that the information provided is for informational purposes only. Please don't rely on it for planning or purchasing decisions. We plan very ambitiously here at GitLab, and all the details on this live stream are subject to change. Timing of product features and functionality remain at the sole discretion of GitLab. Thank you for listening. And with that, I'll hand it over to Josh to kick us off.
Awesome. Thanks, Hillary. Let me go ahead and share my screen here and make sure I have the right window. Here we go. All right. Yeah, as I mentioned, we'll be walking through our themes for the core platform section, and we'll be focusing on the highlights for this section. So we do have some other work that we are doing that we won't cover here. So if you're interested in that, please take a look at our planning issues and also our kickoff videos, which we record and post on YouTube on our unfiltered channel. But with that said, let's jump into our highlights here. And we'll get started with the strengthening our SaaS deployments and capabilities theme. The first item is that we are working to help enable Gitly to run in Kubernetes. So most of GitLab can already run in Kubernetes. The main GitLab application itself that does not is Gitly, and this oftentimes requires people to run like a hybrid architecture and require things on virtual machines, which means you have to manage secrets across both Kubernetes and virtual machines and manage a wider array of infrastructure than they otherwise want to. And so we made a lot of improvements to Gitly to hopefully allow it to run smoothly and safely in Kubernetes, and we're now ready to start testing it on staging ourselves. And of course, if this goes well, the plan is to then start rolling it out on GitLab.com and make sure it goes well from there before recommending it for broader use to all of our GitLab community, which is pretty exciting. Moving on over to our database and our database group, we are continuing our work on mitigating the lock manager or lightweight lock contention. So this is our Postgres database, and effectively we have a pretty large database with a lot of transactions. And so we found a potential saturation point here with lightweight locks, which we are working to mitigate for the past few months and make sure that our database can continue to scale for a number of times to come. And so we're working on a few different aspects of this. We converted some queries to function calls to help mitigate it. And we're looking at this point in time for the next kind of best thing to go off and do to further optimize and reduce the chance of this contention happening. Moving on over to our Cell project. Cells is our project to help make GitLab more reliable and more scalable as well, along with the database work, by being able to spread our customer base across multiple smaller deployments of GitLab transparently. So the first thing we're doing here is our Geo team is working on helping to make our geo replication functionality replication technology agnostic. This is a bit detailed, but right now we use physical replication, which replicates the entire database. And we are working to be able to allow this to work with logical replication, which will enable us to selectively replicate content between geonodes. And so this will be useful for our self-managed customers who may want to replicate part of a database to different sites, but also, of course, with GitLab.com, because we want to be able to rebalance customers between cells. And we're also, as part of that, working through and adding checksumming to all of our data that we replicate with Geo to make sure that we have an accurate picture of the content and the database, and they both match, and that we can replicate and ensure that the content is replicated successfully as part of Geo. And again, this will benefit not just org mover, but all of our Geo functionality going forward. We also, over in our Geo team, are working on cloud-based backups for our hybrid architectures. We've been working towards a more scalable, unified backup architecture, and we are targeting the hybrid reference architecture first, because this is what will power cells and parts of our dedicated offering as well. And so we want to go ahead and make sure we get this built for these services before they launch, and then we can also then make this available to all of our customers. And it will be a very well-trod path and validated path because we'll be using it internally to run our own infrastructure. Over in our 10-scale group, we are working to further develop our organization concept. Organizations are effectively a new isolation boundary between customers. And we want to have this as a nice kind of unification of experience between SaaS and self-managed. But it also will help to make sure that kind of the cell aspect of cells is completely transparent to our users. And so we're going through and now adding we're now requiring all namespaces, groups and things like that to require to be part of an organization. And then we're also going through, and as part of our isolation efforts, adding an organization ID field to all of our tables. So it's easy to tell which organization a particular piece of data is relevant for. Continuing over in our 10-scale team, we are working on our pass-through proxy layer. This is effectively a routing layer so that we can actually route traffic to the right cell or right infrastructure for a given customer. And so this is pretty important for us, and we're working to actually deploy this out in a pass-through mode right now for our first iteration to our production fleet. Moving on from there, we are working to bootstrap our topology service. This is actually the data store or the backing service for the router to make decisions in the future. So when you come in with a given, for example, group or project, the routing layer can ask the topology service, hey, what cell is this group on? And they can respond back and get that request routed to the right place. Moving on from there and kind of away from our SaaS deployment and capabilities, we can talk about our enabling ML efficiencies and AI throughout DevCyOps. One exciting piece is our global search team is continuing to do some proof of concepts and experiments with using search results to better improve the code suggestions. And so the idea here is we can utilize hybrid search, both semantic and keyword search within the code base to provide improved context to the prompts that are used to generate the code suggestions. And so we are part of the way through here. As you can see from a lot of great work that's being done, here's the current status. And so we're currently working mainly in the chunking area and trying to determine the optimal chunking strategy for providing these context to both the backing store and then also for search purposes. From there, we have our Cloud Connector team who is continuing to improve the health check functionality primarily. This provides a nice, easy way in the UI to know if you have a good, solid connection to our cloud services for things like all of our AI functionality. And if you don't, we can tell you exactly what the problem is. And so we're going through, we actually launched this, or hopefully launching in this release here. It should be coming out in a couple of days. But we're going through and improving documentation, improving some of our API responses, and just generally just rounding out the experience. Moving over to our last theme here, which is the driving use case adoption. The first one is that we are doing further research on how we can best help customers stay up to date with to-dos and other notifications. And so we are exploring some better improved web notifications that we can utilize within the application. And so that work is ongoing in our personal productivity group. And we are also continuing our work over in Foundations to be able to have a design system and that it can be, or really a web UI that can be fully themed. And so The main foundational component for that is design tokens for all things like colors and fonts and things like that. So we're going through and actually using, as you can see here, tokens as opposed to actual colors in our various CSS and other components. And this will allow us to then change the backing color actually with a given theme of your choice to perhaps be dark mode or perhaps a higher contrast theme and things like that. So this will again provide a very foundational component for having improved themes across GitLab's application. And of course, the main thing we want to work on first is dark mode. And so we are now working out how to exactly apply that dark mode vision and theme to the various pajama components and design tokens. And that is the core kind of highlights we're working on here across all three themes for core platform. And I will stop sharing my screen and hand it over to, I believe it is Melissa to talk about Dev and Monitor.
Thank you. Let's get started. So I'm Melissa Ushakov, and I'm representing Dev and Monitor, and we're going to mostly talk about two themes: differentiate on DevCyop Platform and AI ML efficiencies. So starting with DevCyop Platform, a very exciting update from the observability side of things with a new capability to basically build a workflow that goes between observability and planning. So with this release, customers will be able to create issues directly from metrics, logs, and traces of interest. And it will look a little bit like this. And customers will also be able to access those related issues. So this way, there'll be a complete picture of the application health and performance, as well as tracking issues that arise from that. Staying on the theme of planning, so as a reminder, we're in the process of reworking the implementation of our existing capabilities in issues and epics into something we call the work items framework. And with this, we'll be able to streamline the experience and also accelerate new capabilities in the future. So in the work items framework, we're introducing the capability to change a type. So this is a very exciting update because it'll be slightly different than how promoting an issue works today, because it won't be a close and copy. It will just be changing a type under the hood. So there'll be no extra work items left behind. And you'll also have flexibility to change between more types. So for example, in the future, from a task to an epic and OKR, so forth. So it just creates a more streamlined workflow. In the same vein, also in the work items framework, we're introducing the capability to create a work item from an existing work item. So this is something like a related issue, and it will look a little bit like this. Again, this is a slight improvement from what we have today with a more streamlined flow. All right, the next item on the work items framework is the ability to create an MR from the development widget. So this is a capability that's available today in issues, but it's coming to tasks for those people that are doing a task-based workflow. And this is the first iteration of this. We're taking a lot more capabilities. This is what it will look like with, in the future, being able to take an existing MR and link it to an issue, and basically taking the opportunity to rework some of those workflows. Now moving on to the theme of enabling AI ML efficiencies, but staying in the plan space. And something that you'll notice in the capabilities that I'll be highlighting is that we've released some of these features out in beta and experimental, and we're taking the opportunity to rework the usability to better serve user needs. And that's what we're doing with description on issues. So today, you basically, when you want to generate a description, you navigate to a modal, you get content, and you kind of have to copy and paste it and switch contests, which can make it a little bit burdensome as you're playing with prompts to get the best description. So what it will look like today in the future will be like this. So if you have a template, also is going to be the improvement here. You can apply the generate description with your template at the same time. And if you're playing with different prompts and different ways that you're trying to get the best result, it's a lot more streamlined to do it all in the same screen versus jumping between modals. So really excited for this improvement. Another great usability improvement and new functionality is the ability to have a fix slash command. So essentially what this will give you is the ability to apply a fix that's generated by Duo Chat API. So you can see what this will look like here. It just gives you more information about what you need to do to get your test running efficiently. Similarly, coming to both JetBrains and VS Code is the ability to essentially, and this will make more sense, when you generate a snippet, being able to insert it. So what we found is a lot of people were doing the copy paste, but of course, as much as we can streamline that workflow to give you those efficiencies, so that's what it will look like. And again, this is coming to both VS Code and JetBrains. And finally, something that a question that we've been getting across the board is how can we measure how much people are using AI and what the impact of AI is across an organization? Today, you can do that with the AI Impact Dashboard, but that's currently only available if you have ClickHouse configured. So SaaS customers can do that, and self-managed customers who have set of ClickHouse can do that. But for customers that are not using ClickHouse or people that want to export that data into their own data store, we'll make available an API to export this information. It'll be for the last 3 months, and it'll be something that will be available across deployment models. So that's it for me. Of course, there's a lot more things that the team is working on, so please feel free to explore the planning issues and videos for the rest of the team. And now I'll hand it over to Jackie.
So much, Melissa. I love your team's focus on usability and all the things they're doing to drive a better quality experience for our customers and users. Well done. I'm Jackie Porter. I'm the Director of Product over the CI section here at GitLab. And I'll be talking about the work coming out of the CI/CD sections, which support the developer platform engineer experience to effectively complete all of their automation, configuration, and operation tasks in GitLab after they submit the code. The 3 sections are verify, package, and deploy. And we have some great work that we're focused on in 17.4. The main theme that we're going to be really focusing on is drive use case adoption to fully realize value. The pipeline execution group is super excited to begin work on a use case that we've heard time and time again, which is about how do you support as a CI ecosystem a customer or a user who wants to integrate with a best-in-class CI tool, but with any SCM of their choice. And typically right now, they have to mirror their GitLab project to a GitHub SCM project. And that approach is pretty slow and it can be pretty painful for customers, up to a 5-minute delay in some cases for this mirroring experience. So in 17.4, the team is going to explore 2 different POCs to help support this real-time first-party integration with GitHub source code without mirroring. We're very excited to help support a high-quality experience for these GitHub repositories. Next up, our GitLab Runner core team has prepped the last milestone for our Azure Fleeting plugin GA to support the compatibility of running jobs at scale in top cloud providers. And the team is aiming to support our auto-scaling runners for Azure, including configurable options to ensure minimal or even 0 wait times for CI jobs to start. So we're really excited for all of our Azure cloud customers to begin using our auto-scaling runners doing this plugin. The package team is very pleased to begin moving forward and continue moving forward with our Maven virtual registry support. And this is going to help us support more and more use cases for our customers and our community. This milestone, the team is working on 2 aspects of the virtual registry. First, the API endpoint for Maven, and also supporting a cache logic, which will make it a superior experience for our users. And this milestone, we're also going to be making improvements to the theme of strengthen our SaaS deployments and capabilities. Our hosted runner team is partnering with GitLab dedicated team to ensure that we're delivering a compelling experience for our customers who want services that are hosted by GitLab. And in this milestone, we're expanding our support for ARM runners for GitLab dedicated, which will extend the diversity of machine types in our compute offerings. As everyone said, this list is just a sampling of what we are delivering out of the CI/CD sections. I'm going to go ahead and pass it over to Hannah to present all the goodness for SEC.
Hi, everyone. I'm Hannah Suter. I'm a product manager in the SEC section. So today I'm representing secure and govern stages, and I'll be covering our 17.4 release highlights for the SEC section. For secure and govern, our items tie mainly into the use case adoption to fully realize value theme. Let me share a little bit more about what we have planned for this milestone. Okay, here is our first item where we will be grouping the vulnerability report by the 2021 OWASP top 10. As you can see here, this is the current state. You can group by the top 10 from 2017. So we are deprecating the 2017 data, eventually removing it and adding in the 2021 data. So you'll see a new option here under your group by options. For compliance, we're continuing development work on the custom standards adherence MVC, which provides compliance managers the ability to create and define custom compliance frameworks in GitLab. So here's an overview of the Compliance Center. In addition, for compliance, we're also adding the ability to generate a report that shows the last date and time a repository was scanned by each security scanner. This allows customers to sort of sense if things are out of compliance or not working as expected. And so this milestone, we're adding that report specifically for SAST scans. As part of this milestone, we plan to continue work on building a GitLab native secrets manager. You probably hear us talk about this one almost every release kickoff. It's a long-term project. And although we're not shipping anything in this release, we're working on a POC to fetch secrets in a CI job. We're working on a lot of token management features, and one of the improvements we're doing this milestone is increasing our notifications around token expiration. Currently, we have notifications issued when you're 7 days out from expiry and 1 day out from expiry. We are adding additional times to this, so we're going to start with 30 and 60 days. Eventually, we may add more or make it configurable. And then we're also changing the logic of who gets sent these notifications and making sure that inherited group members get sent them as well. And this is just one I've gotten in the past to show you an example of what these look like. Okay, for DAST, we're adding a new configuration variable, which will improve crawl consistency for apps with dynamic attribute names. And this will ensure that DAST can properly support Angular-based apps. On the authorization side, we're adding better visibility into roles and the users that are assigned those roles by giving an export role report where you will get detailed information on your users and the different roles and permissions that they have. And it will give insight also into the number of users that have a specific role if you want to audit that. This will help customers manage privilege sprawl and will give an audit trail of the current state of roles and permissions. And you can see this new button here, export role report, which is how you will access that report. And finally, we will enable push protection to scan only a set of changes or the deltas instead of the entire files, which will greatly improve user experience by ensuring that developers aren't blocked from pushing when their commits contain secrets that already existed in files. That is it for SEC. To wrap up our 17.4 kickoff call, I'll hand it off to Taylor McCaslin for the data science section.
Awesome. Thanks, Hannah. Hi, everyone. My name is Taylor McCaslin, and I'm a group manager of product for the data science section. Everything we work on supports the theme of enabling AI and ML efficiencies across DevSecOps. Let's first talk about the AI-powered stage, which helps GitLab build AI-powered features into GitLab Duo to increase productivity and efficiency for our customers. We'll start with the Duo chat group, which is working on a variety of context expansion and UX improvements. They are working on making chat contextually aware of merge requests, pipeline jobs, and code commits. Additionally, the team is working to allow users to specify what files chat should specifically reference to ground its response. You'll see a little demo of an early concept of what this looks like. So you'll see a / command to include certain files. You'll be able to choose multiple files. In the future, expand that to specific issues and other types of GitLab content. You see that being added to the context here. You'll be able to define specifically what chat is aware of. That will also, as you chat, will show you what files were used in a particular chat to ground that response. Next, they are also improving the UX around helpful / commands. So when you start typing /, you'll see this new pop-up with all of the different / commands that you can have. This release will be adding a new /help command, which will give you more verbose details about what chat is capable of. Additionally, we are changing some of the chat icons to be more indicative of if chat is enabled or disabled. And when you hover over that, we'll get explanations of what is causing that different behavior as well. Now let's move on to the AI framework team. This is a team that works on the backbone of all of our AI abstraction layer, which powers all of our Duo features. This team is focused this milestone largely on stability and resiliency of Duo features. We'll start with the performance and optimization improvements that they're working on. They are experimenting with a new prompt caching capability from Anthropic with their Claude API. This will help to speed up queries with large contexts. Next, they are working to offload Workhorse by implementing latency-specific AI features. This will transition from a Sidekick-based processing to direct communication with the AI gateway, reducing round-trip delays for optimized performance. Next, let's move into infrastructure and integration improvements. The team is working to move model logic into the AI gateway rather than the monolith, which will allow us to have faster responses during outages and incidents, as well as do automated failover when there are issues with our third-party AI providers, which should improve Duo's uptime overall. We're also adopting light LLM for production use. This is used today with our custom models functionality, but we're going to start using that in the AI gateway as well to simplify how we do model routing and make it easier to both adopt new models as well as have community contributors work in this area. We're also working to increase the token size for Claude 3.5 Sonnet requests. This will allow us to put more context into all of these requests, leading to higher quality results. We're also going to finish our migration to the Claude 3 series models. We still have 2 features using older models, generate issue descriptions and summarize comments. So both of those are moving to Claude 3 Haiku this release. And then we're also working on making improvements to the local AI setup to make it easier for anyone across GitLab to contribute. Moving to custom models, our custom models team is focused on enabling customers to self-host models to power Duo as part of Duo Enterprise. They are implementing UX designs for configuring self-hosted models. This will essentially allow a self-hosted models customer to come in and choose which model powers which feature, to do this in UI rather than in config files, and to have just overall an easier configuration and setup for these self-hosted models. The team is also working to implement the first iteration of Duo Chat for self-hosted models. So today it works with code suggestions. And then moving to our model validation team, which helps GitLab evaluate models and ensure Duo features have high quality results. The team is going to continue supporting our vulnerability resolution feature and running evals for that product team. And then finally, they're also working on calibrating our LLM judges, which we use to score responses in our evaluation suite to compare what the models are producing versus known good answers. And that's how we decide which models should power all of these different features. That wraps it up for the data science section, and I'll hand it back to Hillary.
Thanks so much, Taylor. Again, so much great stuff going on this release. So just to wrap us up really quick, I'm going to pull out a few highlights the team talked about today. So, there's a variety of projects that are contributing to push forward our cells project, right? Including the capability to balance orgs between cells, unified backup solution, the ability to route traffic to the right cells, and so on. Work to support our Duo offering with improved health checks, so you can ensure your connection to access AI functionality is really solid, as well as a project to leverage hybrid code search to improve code suggestion results. We've got providing an API that allows users to export raw AI metrics so that you can more easily analyze and understand how AI-powered capabilities are impacting your business. Multiple improvements to planning workflows, including adding a triage workflow to create issues from metrics, logs, and traces. Ability to easily create new work items from existing work items and seamlessly incorporate Duo-generated issue descriptions into the body of the issue itself instead of copying and pasting. We're working on evaluating technical options around how we can provide a first-class experience for leveraging GitLab's best-in-class CI with your SCM of choice, including making it a lot easier to leverage GitHub without requiring mirroring. Kicking off development for custom standards adherence report and adding compliance checks for every security scanner in GitLab. Making chat contextually aware of merge requests, pipeline jobs, code commits, as well as giving users the ability to make chat aware of specific files of interest. And then numerous availability, reliability, and performance improvements to our core AI systems and services. So there's a lot of awesome stuff with a lot of impact for the way that you use and enjoy GitLab. So it's really just a sample of everything that we're working on. So please check out the release kickoff page for a full list of items. Feel free to comment. We'd love to engage with users and customers. So please reach out. Thanks so much for watching the 17.4 release kickoff, and have a great day.